I was so afraid she was going to be by herself again tonight. I'm so glad she's not. Now we just got to catch him. And I think we will. I think he'll get caught so he can't ever do this to anybody else's child ever.
Tears of joy tonight. The family of 4-year-old Alisa Maier back home. Alisa was snatched from her own front yard Monday evening and found 26 hours later wandering around a gas station all by herself. Alisa's grandpa appeared on NBC this morning.
They were just so happy. They were so happy that hardly any words could be spoken. Alisa is just, like we told you many times before, she's a very happy child, and she likes to smile. So there was a lot of smiling right there.
What a joyful conclusion, but we still have to find the predator who's on the loose. Lisa, Texas, your question, your thought, man.
I just am praising Jesus. I just turned it on and found out that y'all found this precious baby, and we get so much bad news, and for once, with all the things going on, we at least got some good news on the news for a change.
I couldn't agree with you more. There is nothing that makes me sadder or sicker than having to cover a case of a child, an innocent, precious child who's disappeared. And Aaron Runyon, one of the reasons you're my hero is that you have turned your grief over the loss of your precious daughter into something positive, to try to make this world a better place, and to bring healing, and to bring knowledge, and to bring hope. And what was your emotional reaction when you woke up this morning and found out this child was found alive?
Just thank goodness. She is, you know, every once in a while we get some good news on a story like this, and it's just a miracle, and I was just so grateful. Made my day.
Does it any way comfort you or alleviate the pain that you still feel over the loss of your precious daughter?
You know, it does. It makes me feel like I need to be speaking out more about what parents can do to prevent this kind of thing from happening. I mean, one of the things that we teach children is if they are given permission to play outside in front of their house or in the street, that if they hear or see a moving car, they immediately start going to the front door and let their parent know that a grown-up is there. So that they are letting a grown-up know that there's a car moving out front. And then the other thing is, of course, to make sure that our children know all of the tricks and all of the lures that these people try to use to trick children into coming with them. You know, children need to know that a grown-up you don't know should be asking you for help. They should never take your picture without asking your parents' permission, or try to take you anywhere without asking your parents' permission. And if you empower children to say no to a grown-up in those situations, then most of the time they will. If they see somebody coming up to them that they don't know, they will in fact run. And that's
excellent advice.
There's a problem in all this, Jane, that I notice, and I agree with the panelists. The problem is a lot of parents feel that if they're too overprotective, they're not letting their child get their own identity. That's the most ridiculous thing in the world. You must educate the children. You must tell them what strangers are. And sometimes playing on the front lawn, it only takes a split second to pick up that kid and throw him in a car. Sometimes it's too slow to get to the front door. Parents need to be aware that it can happen anywhere.
It's
if you
a
can
sad
take the
world.
time to stand out
it's
front,
a
watch your
sad
kid
world
play on
that
the
we
front
can't
lawn.
let a kid play in the front yard of their own home. But unfortunately, that's the kind of world we live in right now. And it's terrible. I mean, it's terrible for parents because also keeping their kids on a leash isn't very healthy either. So it's a tough situation, and it's a tough choice that they have to make every single minute of the day. Now, Alisa's grateful grandfather appeared on NBC's Today this morning and had a message for the abductor who's still out there. Listen to this.
This guy's still out there, and I don't want him hurting somebody else. He's done the first step. He's let my granddaughter go. He's got a couple more steps to go. He has to come to the realization that he has a problem, and then he has to step up and take responsibility for that and turn himself in.
My big issue, this predator's on the loose. The suspect, thin, olive-skinned white male, early 20s, early 30s, short, dark hair, vehicle, four-door car, possibly Ford Escort, dark color, tinted windows, missing hubcaps. Cops say there's no muffler or it's damaged. John Lusich, former criminal investigator. This is a lot of information. What do they do with it?
they get it out there to the public, because that's number one. You know, nothing's going to, I agree with you, Jane, technology is great, it can help us solve problems going forward once they've happened, but before that, we need people to get involved. The fact that this guy was able to drive around this neighborhood for that length of period and nobody called the police and had this guy pulled over is unconscionable. People need to start taking action to report suspicious activity. If they see a guy or hear a guy going up and down the road, it's for a reason. This guy may have marked that girl and was just driving around to wait for a good opportunity to snatch her up.
Well, let's not castigate anyone. I think that we're very happy that there was a happy ending here, and we certainly know that it's easy to have 20/20 hindsight. I'm just really happy. Just joyful.
We got to get there. We got to get there.
We got to find this guy.
Absolutely.
We got to find this guy, and we will. Thank you. Incredible panel.
It is really, really important if you see a vehicle going up and down your street for a long length of time is to call the police. Now, I had to do that about 2 weeks ago, because there was a pickup truck with two guys in it, and they were going up and down my street and the street behind me and probably throughout the development. And it turns out that they were going through everyone's garbage that was put out to the curb for that night. Mine had not been out there yet, and but it ended up that I heard my neighbor yelling next door, and he was yelling to them to put the garbage back in the garbage bag because they were in another neighbor's garbage. Well, as they were going up the street, I took down their the license plate number, and I called it into the police, letting them know that this pickup truck is driving around with two guys, stopping and going through everybody's garbage. Now, what they were looking for, have no clue. Well, if they're looking for cans and plastic bottles, but everybody knows that recycling is on Wednesday and this was a Tuesday. Are they looking for addresses or credit card stubs or statements or stuff like that? But you have to be very well aware of your neighborhood. So if you see a car and it's coming around too often, like he should have found the address already that he was looking for, take the license plate number, call it in. The worst that could happen is they send out a police car and it means absolutely nothing when they find him, but it could also mean something. So yes, everybody needs to watch out for their neighbor. Enough of my spiel.